Right. So yes, this is the for chapter 13. So we've talked about the balanced scorecard, those four areas, of course. And some of the benefits it talks about here are that, of course, we're including non-financial benchmarks here, and it's external as well as internal information. Um, Sometimes I guess it's just finding or classifying these things that could be tricky. So the selection of measures can be difficult. How do you measure innovation? It's one of those. I mean, innovation just in a way it's great for you as a student because you could really pick anything and write about it as long as you're kind of just trying to explain you feel it's closest enough to be even the statement I produce is different to theirs because there's no set standard in preparing some of these things, but at least you're thinking about what those measures would be. The other tool that's being used is referred to as the building block model, and you have to know both. You need to know about the balance scorecard, and you also need to know about this other building block model, which is referred to as the Fitzgerald and Moon. Fitzgerald and Moon. Now, what's interesting here is that it's pretty much the same thing, just slightly different. So they sort of argue that just like you would have in the oil industry, downstream really is when you go to in the oil and gas when you turn up at a petrol station and you're buying fuel directly from when I say directly, you're buying it just putting the pump in your car. That's downstream. That's like the final stage. Um, the real work of bringing the oil upstream is here. And so they're sort of saying downstream results are literally just what we see the financial performance and the competitive. If you really want to change things, you need to look at the upstream determinants. So quality of service, flexibility, resource utilization, and innovation. Very much aligned to the balanced scorecard as we saw, where you had, of course, well, customer satisfaction, internal processes, and learning and growth. So here they have slightly different ones, but the key point is you get rid of these upstream ones. You sort out upstream, and then you will have, of course, very clear downstream results. And so those are kind of the criteria, if you like, as to doing the balance. This Fitzgerald and Moon. The standards are really how or what it is exactly you're going to measure. So employees need to also see these and feel that they are attainable, and the rewards are literally the motivators. Um, let's look at. I think I saw a question. Yeah, here we are. We can do. Yeah, so look, here we are. Like the dimensions. The dimensions are very much what it is we're trying to do. We're trying to look at the financial performance. These are the clear benchmarks: quality of service, flexibility, resource utilization. Like I said. So what you see these kind of things in section A and section B where they kind of want to trick you by telling you some one of these is not there or it is there or whatever. The key point here is the measures. In terms of measuring financial performance, I need clear measures. So profit, average margins, whatever. Competitive performance is sort of looking around at the market share where you are and the national market share, because the whole perception is that you want to improve these two. So we need to kind of look behind that and sort of look for things. So, for example, how do we measure quality of service? So you have shoppers data, you have clients who are leaving feedback, post-sale satisfaction. So you ask a customer who's just leaving to fill in a short questionnaire. Um, Yeah, so flexibility again, it's just really reacting to the scenario. In this case, post-sale satisfaction surveys of customers, customers highlighting whether they felt sales staff were flexible in bringing in different. So the key point here is you just have people representing maybe the group and they're sort of shouting and they would like a refund or whatever, and that's fine. Um, it's really about flexibility, reacting like we saw to how it should be. So resource utilization, again, how much sales are each of these party people bringing in, if you like. That's the important thing. So sales per employee, sales per square meter of an available floor space, for example. So just really the measures of um, these dimensions. Right. And then, of course, in innovation, central inspection by senior staff could enable local information to be made. So the key point is you could have managers who just look at you and say, yes, that's fine, great job, but they might want to do a bit of digging or do some research. And then, of course, like I said, there's dimensions, there's measures, and here they are, and rewards. And so you reward accordingly. You reward accordingly based on the tools available to you. So if you're rewarding for because you've observed innovation, you reward based on whatever the contracts say. Yes, so I think that's kind of the key point. So it's really important to learn those dimensions. Really important to learn very clearly the measures, and to understand that you'll take that as literally um, your rewards are literally what you will do if they achieve those measures. So external considerations. So yeah, I mean, again, in all of this, you need to keep on looking at the external environment, because yes, all well and good, you're making all these measurements, but you can have shocks. And of course, you're looking outside to see what the events are. Um, if you like to just really see how the business is done, you need to look at the external environment and see, like this pandemic, how these are abnormal times. So you might give them a bit more leeway because they won't have had as much business and as much demand. But it's just really being aware of market conditions and competitors to then effectively judge how well a business has done. So the overall pestle, if you like, the external environment, as well as this freedom to sort of think via dimensions and measures and rewards. And yeah, I think that's a good. So please do TYU7. These are all reading ones, but they're good because you start to see and get into a sense of how this works. And this is also a good one for you to work with. Okay, great stuff. And that completes this chapter on balanced scorecards and Fitzgerald and Moon. Fitzgerald and Moon. Dimensions, measures, and dimensions, standards, and measures. Okay, great stuff.